I realized that there was something still unfulfilled, and that was being able to tell the story completely. They tried everything to really keep me from being in the film because they felt that and they were right, that I was not of an equal stature to Paul Newman.
Robert Redford, Hollywood's legendary icon, known for his cool charisma and relentless pursuit of perfection, has a side few dare to see. Yeah, he's got a list of celebrities he downright hates. And if you think that's just a subtle dislike, think again, because these grudges are carved from clashing egos, philosophies, and ruthless Hollywood power plays. If you've ever watched Downhill Racer and thought Redford and Hackman really balance each other out, let me ruin that for you, they didn't. On screen, it looked like two seasoned pros delivering a perfect push-and-pull dynamic. Off-screen, it was more like a quiet Cold War. Hackman was all gruff command, a guy who walked into a set like it was his set. He didn't wait to find the rhythm, he made one. Loudly, and Redford, he's the guy who thrives on precision, on pacing, on letting moments breathe. You can already see the problem. The clash started early in filming. Hackman had this habit of tossing in extra lines mid-scene, just little jabs, unscripted reactions, subtle changes. But those little jabs would completely throw off Redford's timing. Redford plays like a chess master thinking 3 moves ahead. Hackman, more like a barroom brawler reacting in the moment and swinging hard. One afternoon, they were shooting a tense, low-volume exchange. Redford had mapped his beats perfectly. Hackman decides mid-take to lean forward, bark a half ad-libbed line, and laugh in this low, mocking way that wasn't in the script. The director calls it a cut, loving it. Redford smiles politely, but inside, boiling. This wasn't his kind of spontaneity. This was scene stealing in plain sight. The crew started to notice the pattern. Whenever Hackman entered a scene, the temperature shifted. Redford once told a friend over dinner, "Some actors need to win every scene." I'm not playing that game, and he didn't, but he also didn't forget. They wrapped Downhill Racer with handshakes and public niceties, but in private, Redford quietly vowed never to put 2 alphas in one frame again. They never worked together again, and neither man seemed eager to change that. If you think that was enough heat, wait until you hear about number 6, James Woods, whose drama started long before the cameras even rolled. In the early 80s, they were circling a political drama together. Redford admired Woods' raw talent. The man could light up a scene with a glance, but what Redford didn't admire? The chaos. Woods thrived on unpredictability. Late script changes, sudden rewrites scribbled on napkins, loud political rants at the craft table, that was his process. Redford's process was the exact opposite. Structure, polish, quiet focus. The breaking point came at a private dinner. They were supposed to discuss character arcs, narrative beats, maybe even pick the cinematographer. Instead, Woods went on a 40-minute tangent about Washington corruption, foreign policy blunders, and why Hollywood was complicit in all of it. Redford tried to steer it back twice. By the third attempt, he just set his fork down, folded his napkin, and said, "I think we're done here." Woods later told an interviewer he had nothing but respect for Redford, calling him a true craftsman. But if he was hoping for the phone to ring, it didn't. Years later, a producer asked Redford why the project fell apart. His answer was simple: that man is brilliant and exhausting. If you thought things couldn't get any more intense, number 5 is a deep, carved-in-stone, philosophical battle that defined their entire relationship. In the 70s, Hollywood was buzzing with the rumor that Redford and Hoffman would finally share the screen. It never happened. Hoffman is method to his bones. If his character hasn't slept in 2 days, he won't either. If the character limps, he's limping all week, on set and off. It's immersive, it's intense, and for some directors, it's magic. For Redford, it's a theater camp. The red flag came during a dinner party with mutual friends. Hoffman decided to act out an entire emotional scene from a script they were both reading. We're talking pounding the table, raising his voice, even getting misty-eyed over the breadbasket. The rest of the table applauded. Redford gave a polite smile, but internally he was thinking, if this is dinner, what's day 27 of shooting gonna look like? They talked once more about the project. Hoffman wanted the freedom to do multiple takes until he felt it was alive. Redford valued efficiency, hitting the emotional truth without 25 attempts. The gap was too wide. Later, when asked about why they never collaborated, Redford shrugged it off in public. Privately, he summed it up like this: "I don't need an actor to live as the character 24/7. That's theater camp, not a film set." And if you think Redford's disdain for Tom Cruise was just about clashing on set, think again. This 4th name on the list is a whole different beast. Tom Cruise, the unstoppable Hollywood machine, or the box office king, but to Redford, he was less actor and more brand on steroids. When they first met in the late 80s, Redford couldn't deny Cruise's raw box office power, the kind that makes studios throw money like confetti. But what Redford saw behind all that flashing star power was something far less appealing, a relentless, hyperactive self-promotion that felt less like passion and more like performance art. Cruise wasn't just playing a role. Redford felt he was playing Tom Cruise, the persona, the brand, the perfectly polished superstar. It wasn't a subtle difference. Redford tried casting him in a project he was directing, hoping for genuine acting chops beneath that dazzling smile. But what he got instead was Cruise dialed up to 11, all flash and no depth, playing to the cameras instead of the character. Redford saw it as a betrayal of the craft, an actor putting himself before the story, before the director's vision. And that pissed him off. Then there was the whispered tension over Cruise's notorious control in the editing room, something that ruffled Redford's feathers big time. Directors live and breathe their cut. It's their final word, their creative baby. Cruise pushing his weight to tinker with edits felt like a power grab, a sign that the brand was running the show, not the director. Redford didn't just see this as bad form, he saw it as a slap in the face to the whole filmmaking process. Redford's verdict? Talent's there, but so is the brand machine. Those words drip with contempt. Paul Newman and Robert Redford sound like Hollywood's golden duo, right? Legends who gave us Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. A partnership that seemed smooth on the surface, but underneath, it was a tightrope walk between brotherhood and rivalry. Newman was everything Redford admired, charismatic, effortlessly cool, and deeply talented. But behind the camaraderie was a simmering tension that not many knew about. Newman's style was loose and improvisational, allowing him to riff off a line, ad-lib his way through a scene, and steal the moment without breaking a sweat. Redford, he was the exact opposite, meticulous, rehearsed, calculated, every beat is measured and precise. When Newman went off script, it threw Redford's carefully crafted rhythm out of whack. It wasn't personal, at least not entirely, but it was mentally draining. Then there was the billing and script input battles, two alpha actors both wanting the spotlight, both used to shaping their characters. That tension wasn't hidden, it just quietly hovered on set. And while they kept the friendship alive off camera, neither wanted to dive back into that creative clash for another full-scale collaboration. Redford adored Newman personally, but working together was a mental marathon. Behind the laughs and the legend was a truth that's rarely spoken. Even the closest of friends can find each other exhausting when egos and artistry collide. Robert Duvall and Redford's story is one of subtle cracks rather than open war. They worked together on The Natural in 1984, a film that's as much about their chemistry as it is about baseball. At first, it seemed like a perfect match. Duvall's blunt, no-nonsense approach balanced Redford's calm, measured style. But that balance didn't last long. Duvall, never one to sugarcoat, hinted in interviews that Redford wasn't as easygoing as his public image suggested. Redford's response? Quiet distance, no dramatic fallout, no public digs, just a professional cold shoulder, no future projects together, and no public comments. It was the kind of quiet fallout that speaks volumes without a single word. This wasn't a clash of talent or even personality as much as a philosophical divide. Two veterans, both masters of their craft, just couldn't align their ways of working and communicating, and sometimes that's enough to end what could have been a legendary partnership. On number 1, we have Faye Dunaway, the ultimate diva energy packed in a Hollywood legend's body. Their paths crossed during the peak of the 70s Hollywood, a time when egos and artistic clashes were part of the daily grind. Dunaway's reputation preceded her, famously demanding, chronically late, and notoriously difficult to work with. But it wasn't just rumors. Redford experienced it firsthand. The story that really sealed the deal was a charity gala encounter. Redford extending a friendly greeting only to be met with cold indifference as Dunaway completely ignored him, choosing instead to chat up the major studio execs like royalty. That wasn't just rude, it was a slap in the face to Redford's collaborative spirit. He privately grumbled that she was a one-person hurricane, a force of nature that tore through sets, leaving no room for teamwork or warmth. Redford came to believe Dunaway cared only about the spotlight shining on her, no matter what it cost the rest of the cast or crew. It was all about the personal stage, not the collective performance. That feeling led to a silent but powerful decision. Redford never invited her into any Sundance-related projects or collaborations. A quiet, deliberate exclusion, an unspoken message that Dunaway's energy was poison to the kind of filmmaking community Redford treasured. Turns out, even Hollywood's golden boy has a blacklist. So which celebrity feud on Redford's list shocked you the most? Drop your pick in the comments and don't forget to hit subscribe for more behind-the-scenes drama.